Hey everyone, you're watching Practical Dice, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to play Malifaux on Tabletop Simulator. This guide would cover everything from how to set the game, controls, and if you stick around to the end, I got some tips and tricks for my personal setup for smoother gameplay. Each section will be timestamped in the description so you can easily refer back to them and share as needed. If you're already familiar with how to set up rooms and load mods in TTS, please feel free to skip ahead to the map setup section. First things first, we need to get a few mods, and luckily, this is super simple. Simply follow the links in the description and click subscribe on each of them. And you might as well subscribe to me too. You can then set up a multiplayer room from the main menu by clicking create. Name your server however you want, something spicy and memorable so that your opponent and spectators can find it. Feel free to crank the max player all the way up because we like people to watch. Add a password if you wish, and click create. Once created, the mod can be found in the workshop row. If you're subscribed to multiple mods like I am, then you might need to go into the workshop tab. Click the Malifaux 4E mod and load. You also need to change your color to either red or blue. Spectators can remain grey. To join the server, simply click join on the main menu and search for the room. However, I do recommend one player setting up the room with the mod loaded entirely first before anyone else joins. I recommend using a mouse to use Tabletop Simulator, as this allows for easier controls and navigation, but keyboard controls are available. Move around and pan over the map by holding the middle mouse button, or use WASD. You can rotate the camera by holding down the left mouse button, or using the arrow keys. Zoom in and out using the scroll wheel. Quick zoom can be done by clicking on the scroll wheel. Note that this is quite sensitive, so when panning around, you may accidentally zoom in or out. Holding down Alt will show you an enlarged version of the asset your mouse is hovering over. Pressing F will flip any object you're hovering over. You will need this if you're planning on playing without the app and playing with the cards inside the mod. Let's move on to setting up the map. Once everything is loaded and colors have been chosen, pan over to the map manager to decide. The mod team has kindly provided 2 bags that is loaded with your mod. However, they have also provided additional maps in the workshop that users can subscribe to. I've linked these in the description below. The mod team has also created a map maker, which is quite straightforward to use. I've created 4 TTS versions of Vassal maps that everyone is free to use. Once you have the desired map imported, click and hold the bag and drop it onto the stage. This will automatically deploy the map onto the play area. Deployment zones and orientation can be enabled using the overlay buttons up here. The mod offers a randomizer for strategy and schemes. After deploying the map onto the play area, head over to the game setup panel. Take strategy, scheme, and start game. This will put the strategy markers onto the board and give you and your opponent 3 starting schemes you can choose from. You can select the scheme by clicking options 1, 2, or 3. Once revealed, the next available schemes will be automatically added to the options. From here, you can score VP using these buttons. These will be tallied automatically on the scoreboard right here. You can also manually change the turns and VP using the scoreboard by left-clicking to increase and right-clicking to decrease. Unfortunately, there's currently no support to set specific starting schemes, so you need to either use the M4E Crewbuilder app or Theoryfaux if you wish to have control over the starting schemes. Fortunately though, you can choose which strategy you'd like to play. With the map set up and the deployment overlay enabled, head over to the 4 strategy cards by the side and left-click on the marker to deploy it to the map. The easiest way to import a crew is through Theoryfaux. Timestamp link to Danger Planet's tutorial video can be found in the description below. But basically, add models to the crew using the plus button, click the burger menu, and export to clipboard. Head back to TTS, right-click on the flashcard on your side of the board, left-click the description box, and paste your crew into it. Left-click away from the description box, and then click the Retrieve Crew button. This will automatically load the cards, model, and tokens from the crew card from Theoryfaux. Note that automatic import will sometimes bring out the wrong cards, and sometimes you get to become the Pokemon master. You can bring out the correct models and cards manually by going to the faction bags on the side. Right-click, search, and browse for the models you're looking for. You can then drag out the cards and spawn the models by clicking on the spawn button under the card. Before starting the game, ensure that your measurements are set to inch, 3D, and edge. This can be done by hovering over the ruler icon to the left and changing the settings in the menu. You can measure distance using the ruler tool. Click and drag to measure from anywhere. Snapping to models is on by default, so you can measure the distance between models that way. You can pick up and place models like any other objects by holding left click while hovering over it. The game will automatically show how many inches the model has moved by. The mod offers another way for precise movement, however, which I'm a big fan of. Pressing the number keys between 1 and 9 whilst hovering over the model will enable the Move Manager. This will limit the maximum movement in inches to the number you press. Free move is also available by pressing 0. You can break the movement into segments by left-clicking once. Double-clicking will confirm the move and move the model to the location. You can cancel the planned move with right-click. For example, I can easily plan my move for the Malifaux Rex around this rat maze of terrains and models by breaking up my movement into segments without having to worry about accidentally knocking anything over. Once the movement has been confirmed, the model will become locked. This is to prevent any accidental movement. You can still use the Move Manager whilst the model is locked, or you can press the L key to unlock the model. Make sure not to unlock any of the terrain though, as this will cause things to go a little bit crazy. Continuing with movement, Malifaux players love drawing Venn diagrams of doom, so don't worry, the mod has you covered there too. Next to the model's health bar, you can find the Aura widget. Left click to increase the aura by 1, and right click to decrease. Placing models is a breeze when using the Aura combined with the Move Manager. Lastly, to change the health of your models, simply hover over the middle of the bar, right click to decrease, and left click to increase. Now let's move on to the main reason why people play Malifaux, and that is the Fate deck. Your Fate deck and duel area can be found to the side of the board. You can shuffle the deck by pressing the shuffle button. You can draw cards straight from the deck by hovering over it and pressing the number of cards you'd like to draw. So 7 if you're not playing against this wonderful lady over here. Everything is automated here. Cards will go into the conflict once flipped. They also go into the discard pile automatically when a new flip is made. There are also buttons to accommodate positive and negative modifiers. You can empower a card straight from your hand by dropping the card into the empower zone. You'll still need to click the appropriate flip button yourself though. At the end of the turn, you can shuffle the discard pile into your deck using shuffle. This will not affect your hand, and you can manually discard whatever you don't want into your control hand. Please note that the reset button will reset the entire deck, including your hand. As mentioned earlier, tokens, markers, and soulstones from your crew card are imported automatically. These can be found below the crew card area. If you're missing any tokens, these can be found in the bookshelf. Right-click, search, and drag any tokens that you need. These objects are actually infinite bags, so you can just drag out the tokens as you need them. Dropping a token onto a model will automatically attach them to the health bar. Click the icon to remove them. Scheme markers for each faction and remains markers can be found to the side. These can also be dragged out similar to the token bags. Remains markers are great by default, which is not that great considering how deadly 4th edition is, and both sides are going to be dying a lot. You can change the color of these markers by right-clicking and using this tool. You can do the same for scheme markers and models if you're playing a faction mirror match. And with that, you should be able to start playing your first game of Malifaux on Tabletop Simulator. However, if you stick around for a bit longer, I'd like to show you my setup to make gameplay feel much smoother. Unlike Vassal, where you have a top-down view of everything, you do need to pan around quite a bit on TTS, which is a bit of a pain when you have to go back and forth between the duel zone and the map. Luckily, TTS allows you to save and load up to 9 different camera locations. This can be done by pressing Shift or Control plus the number from 1 to 9. I usually have 3 different camera setups: the center of the map, the controls for the Fate deck, and tokens and markers. I also like to have visibility on the conflict zone at all times. It's a good thing that TTS has a picture-in-picture capability, which allows me to do just that. Right-click on the side to bring out the picture-in-picture menu. This window can be resized however you want. Fit the conflict zone into the picture-in-picture zone by panning the camera and zooming in and out. Then click Lock to View. I normally put this window in the bottom right corner here, over the description bit, since there's nothing important here. And now, no matter where I move my camera to, I can always see the conflict zone. This is very handy when I need to follow my opponent's flips while I'm looking at the map to plan my next move during my opponent's activation. When loading up models, I prefer turning on the compact UI to reduce the clutter on the screen. This can be done by clicking the cogwheel next to the health bar. Models, tokens, and markers are placed in your crew area by default when importing. I find this a bit too far away from the action, so I like to place all my tokens to the side next to the scoreboard. This location is much more accessible for everyone. Due to the 3D nature of TTS, your models won't be completely flat at all times. This can make measurements and auras difficult to read. Using the Move Manager will automatically put the models flat and lock it, allowing for accurate measurements. And that about wraps up my How to Play Malifaux Online guide. After my last video, I've had loads of people reach out about a TTS guide, so hopefully this helps out the online Malifaux community. Let me know if you have any other questions or topics you'd like me to cover in the comments. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you found it useful, and maybe we'll get to play someday. I really appreciate all the comments in the first battle report, and I'm super pumped to make more Malifaux content for everyone. I think I've rambled on it long enough, so I'll catch you in the next video.